Very friendly. Franklin will come when called, but Bailey will not. If you've seen two doxy poos in the area of 3400 State Road 4, 574-387-0356. And if your pet runs off or you find somebody else's lost pet, call 219-362-6144 to report that lost or found pet for the next Pet Patrol. Pet Patrol airs throughout the day, Monday through Friday, as part of your update news, and it doesn't cost a dime. That number for Pet Patrol, 219-362-6144.
On air at 96.7 FM. Online at hometownnewsnow.com.
Times in the promo right before that, I know I did. We want to hear what's on your mind. Just keep it civil and within 2 minutes. Again, 219-362-0522. The phone lines are open. You can also text me at that number, 219-362-0522. You can email me if you want as well. Soundoff at 967theeagle.com. I want to hear from some people specifically about this topic. So there's this conversation happening broadly. Mayor Dermody is talking about growing the city of LaPorte to 30,000. Now, no city grows in Indiana right now unless you're right around Indianapolis in growth. People aren't typically moving to Indiana cities. Let's just be honest. The way that they're growing right now, most cities, is annexation. And so Mayor Dermody has it on his, maybe agenda to get 30,000 people. And some of that is likely going to happen through annexation. They've talked about 39 North. They're talking about annexing a part of the airport, but that doesn't have residents in it. So that's not really going to impact residential growth at all. But also the county, right? The county, we had Earl Cunningham, and he was a great episode. I really enjoyed having Earl here. And he had mentioned, LaPorte County's been about the same size forever. It's been around 110,000 or something like that. There's other counties growing. We're not. There was a subdivision proposed in Rolling Prairie. Now, it had about 300 and some, lots, which would be 1,000 probably people, if not more. It got kind of worked down to 200 and some lots, and it still wasn't approved. I know I've got friends looking for housing right now in LaPorte, not people wanting to move in, just people wanting to move and find housing and stuff. And there's not a lot available. And so there's certainly a need for more housing. But there's a lot of people that are a little nervous about growth. But there's this other side of this as well, that if we don't grow, some of the things people want to see happen, some of the stores that people want, some of the restaurants people want, they're never going to come because there's not going to be enough people to support them. And so, there's this kind of this balance between what to do there. My little sister lives in Georgetown, Texas, which is right outside of Austin. And so we sent her down there. We kicked her out of Indiana, sent her down to Texas, and her husband and her 2 kids live down there. And this little suburb of Austin has experienced so much growth. It's really almost unbelievable. It has grown so significantly. In 1970, this little tiny town in Texas, Georgetown, Texas, had about 6,000 people. What is that? Maybe the size, a little bigger than Westville. I don't know. Roughly about the size of Westville, maybe. 1980 had 9,000. 1990, 15,000. In the year 2000, it had 28,000. In 2010, it had 47,000. In 2020, it had almost 70,000. They're predicting it could get up closer to 100,000 people. We're talking 100,000 people within the next 10 years, going from a city of 6,000 to 100,000 in 60 years, which is amazing growth. And let's be honest, mostly from people not in Texas moving down there. So there are cities that deal with growth. They have dealt with it. It's a cute little city. It's growing like crazy, but they've kept a cool downtown. Can it happen here in LaPorte? I don't know. Are you concerned about growth? Do we want to kind of close off more and say, you know what, I'm only concerned about the people that are living here and maybe just creating better experiences? I'd love to hear from you about that. Whatever else is on your mind, 219-362-0522. Give me a call, shoot me a text, let's talk about it. Let's get to our first caller. Hey, thanks so much for listening to the show. Today's a Sound Off Summit. What's on your mind?
That's a wonderful topic to start with, sir.
Oh, good.
This LaPorte County, LaPorte City has always had a problem with change. If you go back to the 1980s, when LaPorte was a bustling industrial complex, for lack of a better word,
Yep.
then we lost Chalmers. We eventually lost Home Foods. We eventually lost Whirlpool. We lost Modine's. We lost Burkle. We lost business after business after business, well-paying jobs. I believe the population back then was up near 30,000. We don't have a workforce in this community, and I will fight any county council commissioner, any of them. The LaPorte County does not have a viable workforce. That is why part of the people, why Toyota did not build on a St. Joe County line several years ago. Businesses do not want to come where you don't have a workforce. Businesses do not want to come where you had the offer to put in a subdivision to bring more housing. That would have helped with we already had sewers up there in Rolling Prairie that tied into. Hudson Lake and Saucony are smart enough to see with their lakefront communities. They want to tie into that. Other communities are constantly fighting that change. And until you get people to understand that you're going to have some good change, just like the state of Indiana is attracting businesses because they have not increased the size of our government. They have lowered taxes. In LaPorte County, our taxes continually rise. We continually have a growing government. And on this show alone, more and more people are calling up saying, hey, I'm on a fixed income or I'm having trouble. I can't afford the property taxes anymore. People are on the verge of losing their homes because of that. So I think part of the problem why we're not going to see good change in this county until we change the government and start standing up for the people here instead of trying to line their own pockets and manipulate things. Your own family, I believe, Sand Ridge Subdivision, that's your family?
It is, yep.
Yeah, they just posted the last 24 lots for sale on the internet last night. So there are lots available, but there still needs to be more, and it's going to have to grow, and you have to have housing to bring these people here. And once you attract these good people, Mayor Dermody is trying to get the trash out of LaPorte. God bless him. But I think the way he's doing that, that's opening him up to a constitutional lawsuit myself. That's taking of private property. So change is good if it's good change. But if it's bad change pushed by our government, that will never help us. Just my thoughts. Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for calling, Steve. It is, one of those things. Do we have a hard time with change? And I think the pushback from some people is, yeah, but how do we define what is good and what is bad change, right? We do own some developments. My family does. I don't. I'm not involved in it. But my family, my grandfather, my father owns some developments out there in Rolling Prairie. We own some in LaPorte as well. I think most of those are all sold now. But it is interesting. There are a lot of interest. I know from developers coming in here wanting to grow. And I always take that as a good sign, right? I always take it as a good sign that I think we have some good schools. I'm a New Prairie grad. I very proudly am a New Prairie grad. My kids are LaPorte students. I'm very proud that my kids go to LaPorte schools. I've met some of the best teachers I've ever met before in the LaPorte school system. My kids have been blessed by some really great teachers there. And so I understand why people would want to move in here. I do. I get it. It's a good place to live. We got some of those beautiful lakes. So the idea that people would want to live here or people would want to move in here either from Chicago or from somewhere else, I get it. I would want to as well. So we're talking to you about today's kind of an open show. Whatever's on your mind, we'd love to hear from you. We call it the Sound Off Summit. Is there something that's maybe not getting talked about enough in LaPorte County that you'd like to talk about? Is there something we've been talking about that you want to add your opinion to because you haven't yet, or you'd like to really get your opinion across? We'd love to hear from you. Is there somebody in the community that you'd like to or an organization you'd like to draw attention to that's doing some good work? I'd love to hear from you. We just want to, keep it within about 2 minutes. Keep it civil. Don't start fights on my show. That's not what this is about. If I'm going to start any fight, it's going to be with Dennis Siddell, and I'm going to bring my nunchucks. So 219-362-0522. That's 219-362-0522. You can call or text me. Let's get to another call before break. Hey, thanks so much for calling the show. Thanks for listening. What's on your mind?
Yes, I just wanted to let listeners know that want to expand this city, that I moved to Cherville in 1971 and there was about 2,100 people there, mostly farmers. And when I left in 1995, there was over 23,000, a stoplight on almost every block. And if you go to Cherville now, it's a jungle of businesses. And so I just want to warn you that I came to LaPorte because my son had got transferred to Iron Tech.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as we started visiting him, we noticed that LaPorte was like Cherville used to be. So I just wanted to put that warning out. Watch what you wish for.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm looking here at the Wikipedia. The Cherville growth was pretty amazing. In 1970, they had about 3,600 people. 1980, though, they grew 260%, all the way to 13,000 people. That's a significant growth there in Cherville. So, again, we'd love to hear from you today. Whatever's on your mind, you could talk about growth like we've been talking about. You could talk about something else. Should NIPSCO be held liable for the cleanup of their decommissioned coal-fired power plant? That's an ongoing topic. I'd love to hear your opinion about that. In Michigan City, they're having ongoing conversations about crime, these kind of things. Do you think there's an issue with crime, or is it just an issue with more people are noticing? Is it just post-pandemic people getting out of there? I'd love to hear from you there. We could talk about what the Indiana state government, they're talking about right now, about what they should do with the surplus. Should they give you back your $200 check? Is I think where they're at now is about every taxpayer gets about $200. So if you're a married couple, you get $400. But what do you think about that? We'd love to talk about it. Is there something else? Go ahead and give me a call, 219-362-0522. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back here only on 96.7 The Eagle.
For over 50 years, LaPorte has trusted Cannon's Automotive Service for prompt, efficient, same-day service. And that same Cannon's commitment extends to area businesses who rely on a fleet of one or many to take your goods or service to the customer. Whether it's the truck or trailer that needs maintained or fixed, trust Cannon's Automotive to maximize your productivity with same-day service. Now with 2 Cannon's locations, 710 Tyler Street and 909 Boyd Boulevard.
With Cannon's Automotive, we fix everything.
So, first day at your new job. A lot of nerves, right? Not really. Why? Because when you were getting your associate degree at Ivy Tech Community College, you received hands-on training on state-of-the-art technology. Most of it the same equipment you'll be working on today. You're ready because the staff and faculty at Ivy Tech made sure of it. They met you where you were at, then helped you get where you were going. A new career paying $10,000 more a year than what you can get with just a high school diploma. And it all started at ivytech.edu.
Harmony Pools wants to help you create a beach party right in your own backyard. Whether you're looking for a new in-ground pool or in-ground hot tub, they are sure to make your backyard dreams come true. Need to schedule your pool opening? Need a liner replaced? Or maybe you're looking for weekly or bi-weekly cleaning contracts. They offer chemical and phosphate testing too. Call and ask about the many services they offer. 733-0552. Let Harmony Pools turn your backyard into your dream yard. 733-0552.
Dave, you guys built a new deck.
Oh yeah, it was easy.
It's on a bit of a slant, but I can live with that.
Yeah, you think? I thought it looked pretty good.
I don't think that railing's up to code either. So, are we just going to stand here, or can we actually go on it?
Oh no, I don't trust it enough to actually go on it.
No offense to Dave, but if you want the job done right, contact Powerhouse Construction in LaPorte. Decks, patios, or kitchen and bath remodels, Powerhouse Construction will ensure your satisfaction. Call 219-380-9981 to book a free estimate. That's 219-380-9981. Powerhouse Construction.
You know, with so many things going on around the area, it's really hard to keep up with this and that, and where is it all taking place? Especially when the weekend arrives and, hey, you're looking for something to do and all of a sudden, you forgot. Well, not anymore. Let us introduce you to the Weekend Entertainment Guide. Heard every Thursday and Friday here on 96.7 The Eagle. We'll list your nonprofit event on the air for everyone to hear. Also, we'll list it on our website at hometownnewsnow.com for others to see. Just visit hometownnewsnow.com, click on the Submit tab, and fill out the form and contact us for payment as we take credit or debit cards. It's the Weekend Entertainment Guide every Thursday and Friday here on your station for country music variety, 96.7 The Eagle. And don't forget to visit our website at hometownnewsnow.com. It's the Weekend Entertainment Guide on 96.7 The Eagle and at hometownnewsnow.com.
we're waiting to hear from you. Dial or text 362-0522 and let us know what you think. That's 362-0522. Back to Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Sound Off. We've got a Sound Off Summit today. I'd love to hear from you. Whatever's on your mind, let's talk about it. We've had a conversation this morning a little bit about how to grow the city or the county. Should the city or the county grow? We've had one listener say, yeah, we need to. Obviously, do it smartly, but do it. Another one that said, again, I came from a city that grew very rapidly and grew, and it just didn't feel the same. And so there's lots of different opinions here, but we don't have to talk about that. We can talk about whatever's on your mind. 219-362-0522. You can call or text me. I want to give a quick shout out to my guy Ryan and Jay Seberg, who are driving back from Boston, listening to Sound Off right now. Thanks so much. Again, if you want to listen, you can listen online, or you could download the 96.7 The Eagle app and listen there as well. Jay and Ryan, be careful on your drive. Looking forward to having you back home again. Let's get to some callers. Hey, thanks so much for calling the show. Thanks for listening. What's on your mind?
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, you're on the line. What's going on?
I wanted to respond to what Steve Hollyfield was talking about as far as the corrective government as far as when you have a better economic. But, sir, right now, after with this pandemic that struck it did a lot of major damage as far as for a lot of the companies who are trying to get a steady workforce. We can't even keep people as far to work. They'll come in for like a couple of days and they're out the door. They don't want nothing to do with work. And this is why there's a lot of business places, besides, I work for the bakery here on Vale Road. A lot of companies are having the same issue, including the fast food. They're having the same issue. You got to correct the problem there before you even worry about the government as far as economically coming in. Right now, there's a lot of jobs available, but it just can't keep the people working.
All right, yeah, it is an interesting debate, and one that I think they're having nationally, but also locally. Is are there enough workers? And if there are, why are they not filling the jobs? And how do you make sure that again you get them to want to do it? You can't force people to work. The benefits during the pandemic are over now, so they're not getting that here in Indiana if you're not actively looking for work. And that actually means, showing that you're looking for work. You're not going to get unemployment. It is an interesting thing. I think what we're seeing now, though, is there is a lot of switching of jobs. There's a lot of people moving around, especially in the commercial world. People moving from one job to another because this job is offering $2 more, or this job is, offering, some kind of incentive pay. It's interesting. And there have been some economists that have wished that it wasn't so good, and that maybe we would come down a little bit there, and people would have to kind of stay in their jobs a little bit. I have a hard time not celebrating good, a good job market like this, but I also understand how hard it is for employers to get people. I know people that are employing people well. And you got to take care of your employees. You got to do as much as you can, and hopefully they'll take care of you. But there's certainly no guarantee there. So today we're talking about a Sound Off Summit. What's on your mind? It is the greatest minds in LaPorte County and beyond. Obviously, you and me, my listeners, are coming together to talk about what's going on. We're going to solve all the world's problems. Is there something that's not getting talked about, maybe, that you want to talk about? Do you want to celebrate an unsung person or organization doing well? Are you concerned about something you see in the community that you want to bring light to? What's on your mind? We want to hear from you. Just keep it civil and within 2 minutes. 219-362-0522. You can call me or text me, or you can email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. All right, let's get to another caller. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. What's on your mind today?
Hi, I was calling in to talk about how to take jobs currently and how there's a lot going on. There's available jobs and everything.
Sorry, if you can call back when you kind of broke off a little bit because of your cell phone service. If you can call back when you have a little bit better cell phone service, I'd love to hear from you. All right, let's get to another caller. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for calling. What's on your mind today on Sound Off Summit?
Hi, you were talking about NIPSCO.
Yeah, I would love. What do you think about that? Should they be held liable for the cleanup of their decommissioned coal-fired plant?
Well, yes, of course, they're the ones that but we've already bought and paid for the coal ash to be burned and removed and cleaned. I mean, it's part of our bill.
Mm-hmm.
It's like anything else. We've already been shipped our product, and what they have as a byproduct is their thing to get rid of.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to pay for it again. But by the same token, I have an issue with them closing the plants. They're talking about going to solar and wind, and that's going to be their sole generating, product. And then anything else they're going to have to purchase from someone else. Well, in Illinois, they have nuclear. In Michigan, they have nuclear. But so let's say we're purchasing our electric from them, and our system goes down, and they have a need. Who's the first ones they're going to turn off? It's going to be us. They're not going to be able to supply us with the electric that we need. The wind and solar is not that stable of a product yet, where NIPSCO could go to just natural gas as it's clean burning. These plants are already able to handle that, at least to be able to produce electricity with something that's not going to be so unreliable.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the solar panels right now, they already had to delay it because it's coming from Asia, and it's already a year out. On the closure, they're stopping the closure because they can't even get the stuff in to do this.
Mm-hmm.
In the wind generation, those things have become even more toxic because of the compounds that they use to make the windmills. They only have a 20-year lifespan, and they're already having to bury them, and they're toxic to the ground. I don't see this as being the right way to go right now. And I don't see how Indiana is allowing them to eliminate all of our actual way of producing electric and just go with wind and solar. That's my opinion.
Yeah. It is interesting. NIPSCO, again, they're saying that it's just becoming too expensive for them to do coal and too expensive. It's more than the actual coal itself. I was reading an article, press release by them, that essentially said it's become too expensive to maintain all of the stuff for coal, and to continue to fix things. And so, they've done all their studies, and they essentially suggest it's just a diversified portfolio for them, where they're getting their energy is better for them in their mind. But also, they believe that, again, that the future for them isn't coal. And so it is interesting. Nobody wants to end up like Texas did, right? Where they had energy issues and their grid is so behind, and, people were without power. And it wasn't because of storms. It wasn't necessarily because of anything. It was because of their actual infrastructure. And so I think your concern about energy infrastructure and whether NIPSCO's, kind of shooting themselves in the foot here is a legitimate concern. I'd love to get somebody from NIPSCO if you're listening on the show, and we can answer some of those questions. All right, let's get to another caller. Hey, thanks so much for listening to the show. Today's a Sound Off Summit, just an open show. I'd love to hear from you. What's on your mind today?
Oh, hi, Nate. This is Tommy Kotlovic. All this talk about growth and annexation and all that, like from Michigan City, they're trying to feed us this line that there's going to be a population of 40,000 here by the year 2040. That's why they called the comprehensive plan the Momentum 2040 Michigan City Comprehensive Plan. And all this where they're saying where all the people are going to come here from Illinois to commute to Chicago. I don't see that happen. I don't see this going to be any more than what we already have. We just don't have the job base here. We just had a company. We just annexed property on 20 and Johnson Road. This company was supposed to come here. They thought it was going to be Amazon. They decided not to come here. They pulled out. They try to come here. They can't give in a full shift of employees. I believe that's probably why that Corsicana mattress pulled out after only 3 months. Mm-hmm. I think the cities we need to build within our own city limits. There shouldn't be any kind of annexation. Now, back in the night, there was a study done by a firm called the Gardner Group, and they claimed that Michigan City was supposed to have a population of 90,000 by the year 1990. No, that never happened. It's just all a bunch of hogwash. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for calling, Tommy. I appreciate it. We're going to take a break. If you've got an opinion, you want to talk about something that's going on in the county, something that you maybe noticed, something in Michigan City, Westville, LaPorte, Rolling Prairie, something we haven't even brought up yet, I'd love to hear from you. The Liquor Vault on-air line is 219-362-0522. You can call me or text me as well. Just love to hear from you today. Hey, thanks so much for listening to the show wherever you're at, whether you're here in LaPorte County or beyond. We love having our listeners reach out to us and let us know you're listening. We're going to be right back here in just a couple minutes, only on 96.7 The Eagle.
Ben Conowitz here, owner of LaPorte Seamless Gutter. My parents started LaPorte Seamless Gutter in 1982 with one goal in mind, really. Our customers' 100% satisfaction. And we are still providing the same customer service that Tim and Seal Conowitz started all those years ago. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 219-362-9972, or you can visit us on the web, www.lpseamless.com. 219-362-9972.
Surf Broadband Solutions is now Surf Internet. They have a new name, but are still serving LaPorte with the same fast fiber internet and local customer care team. Get 1 gig speed and a free whole home Wi-Fi router for the incredibly low price of $65 a month. No contracts and free installation, and a price that's locked for life. Surf Internet is expanding to more neighborhoods every day. So visit surfinternet.com to check your address or call 844-955-SURF for details. Limited time offer and summer restrictions apply.
Inflation is hitting everyone hard, some more than others. But if you find yourself struggling with debt, wage garnishment, foreclosure, or lawsuits, attorney David Ambers and his staff are here to help relieve your stress. A fresh start is just a phone call away. Call the office of David Ambers, attorney at law, and schedule your free bankruptcy consultation today. 219-325-9917. David Ambers, attorney at law, 601 State Street, Suite B in LaPorte. Call them today, 219-325-9917.
No voting machines connected to the internet. Voter identification required.
You hear a lot about voter security lately. The state of Indiana has more than 20 security procedures in place. These are just a few to ensure that all votes are secure and accurately
Voter
counted.
machines not interconnected. Homeland
Okay,
Security.
that's a lot. So you can rest assured that in Indiana, your vote is private, protected, and accurately recorded. You can count on it. Sponsored by the Indiana Secretary of State, this station, and the Indiana Broadcasters Association.
Hey, who's hungry? Because I've got a deal for you. Dennis Adele here to introduce you something new to the Morning Mayhem. Every weekday at 6:55, it's Denny's Diner. Yep, Joe and I will cook up some trivia questions, and if you have the correct answer, you'll be the winner of a $20 gift card from either JJ's Side Out Bar and Grill, the Burger Barn Grill, JJ's Pizza Shack, Wanna Pizza, or Nowhere Barn Grill. So join us weekdays for Denny's Diner at 6:55 on the Morning Mayhem for your chance to win here on 96.7 The Eagle.
Michiana weather.
Overcast this afternoon with a slight chance for scattered storms. High of 84. Winds out of the southeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight, lows around 69. From the Weather Center at HometownNewsNow.com. Right now, 75.
Thank you for tuning in to Sound Off. You can now text or email your questions directly to the studio. Call or text 362-0522 or email your questions to soundoff@967theeagle.com. This is Sound Off.
Welcome back, friends. This is our final segment of Sound Off for today, but good news, we're going to have another Sound Off Summit next Monday as well as, I want to give you some more time, and then next Friday, Jim Peters will be back. We're going to talk about some sports, local sports and things like that. So if you don't get through today, make sure you call back on Monday. We'll get you through. We want to talk what's on your mind. Here's a couple texts for you. I think NIPSCO should be made to be completely cleaned up their power plant when they decommission the power plant, and should also be asked, where will the electric come from after? Buying electric off the grid isn't a good solution. I agree here in that, here in LaPorte, we've got all this issue that we've been dealing with the Newport Landing, with, companies that were there that have really just abused the land. And you want to make sure that by the time they're done, that it's just clean, because you're not going to get them to come back and clean up. Here's another. If there is a surge in energy need, you can add more coal to make more energy. Wind and solar have a finite power of amount of energy they can produce. That is true. And so maybe this makes me crazy, but I've always believed that there's good reason to continue to evolve our nuclear energy sources. I think it can be safe. I think it's good energy, and we can figure out what to do with the waste. All right, let's get to a caller. Hey, thanks so much for calling. Thanks for listening to the show. So glad to have you. What's on your mind today?
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Just kind of a follow-up. I called, I guess it was Monday when Mr. Mrozinski was there about the county and the fairgrounds, and I wasn't really happy with the answer I got. I basically was asking him about maybe having the shelter have a few of the dogs over in the commercial building, and his answer was they don't do it because they don't want the dogs to scare the horses and cows. But I'm not quite sure what he's talking about because those are at the complete end of the fairgrounds. I don't know why the adoption dogs would be going to the other end and scaring horses and cows when all he's got to do is have the volunteers come right to one of the commercial buildings, which is one of them was completely not even being used. So just wanted to, straighten that out because his answer was not really very good.
Yeah,
thank you.
I thought it was a good idea. Again, to do, the fair is a great idea to essentially bring attention to different issues. And I know right now, I don't know if it's still, but earlier this week at the animal shelter, they were waiving fees and stuff. So get over there and adopt a dog or a cat. Through next week, Dennis says. Through next Wednesday. So this weekend, go look at a dog or a cat and you might find your best friend. My dogs are my best friends. Some days my only friends. So again, we're having a Sound Off Summit today, 219-362-0522. Love to hear from you. What's on your mind? Here's a couple texts we've received. A lot of people think that the president is running this country, but he is not. Congress is. They tell him what to do, and they have to approve all decisions he makes. All right, next one. Nate, crime has been going up in Michigan City for the last 10 to 15 years, and while it's complex, some of the ways to deal with it are fairly simple. Thanks. Yeah, I'd love, again, these are questions that I know Chief Dion and the mayor, Mayor Perry, are asking, trying to figure out some of these things. They've proposed, and I know Bryant Dabney, city council person in Michigan City, was on the show not too long ago. They proposed this, essentially this camera system that is being used, I think, in Valparaiso and many other cities. But it just essentially captures cars and license plates. And when somebody with a known license plate or a vehicle has, ties to, let's say, drug trafficking or something, or they're wanted in Chicago or somewhere else, it immediately notifies the city so that they can maybe go to that area and hopefully, get some of the trafficking that's coming into the community out. It doesn't fix all the problems, but they do expect it to do some good. They're talking about it. They're having community meetings on it right now. We'll see if they do that. I know a lot of people are nervous about having more and more cameras, but the data on it seems to suggest it does work. All right, let's get to another caller. Hey, thanks so much for calling Sound Off today. Thanks for listening. What's on your mind?
The adoption fees at the animal shelter have been waived until August 10th.
August 10th. Thank you so much. Yes, August 10th. The fees. So if you've been wanting to get an animal, a pet, a cat or a dog that's needs a good home, that needs some loving, that would just love to come home with you, go visit them this weekend and get a cat or a dog. And if you don't have time this weekend, go up until Wednesday, and they have waived the fees, so they made it very accessible to do that. All right, here's another one. Another text. If you've got an opinion, we got about 5 minutes. There's time to call in, 219-362-0522. I'd love to hear from you today. All right. Think about when NIPSCO is gone, the tax base that we'll lose just on the plant alone. It's a good point. I know the county might be a little nervous about it as well. I don't know where the tax dividend goes to specifically, whether it's to the city of Michigan City or the county or both probably. But that is a valuable property. I'm sure NIPSCO is paying some money for that property. I don't know how much, and we can ask somebody in the county, maybe even the auditor is listening. He might know. I don't know. But it's probably a healthy tax bill. And when, as our first caller mentioned, when there's less money going into the coffers, either you have to budget down and figure out how you're going to spend less, or you split that same amount between less people, between fewer people. And so then that means tax rates can go up a little bit, or the amount needed goes up a little bit. And so it's a big loss for sure. I think there's a lot of potential there. Hopefully Michigan City can re-envision that area. Hopefully there's different things that can come in there that can offset some of that, and they can bring some property taxes back. But it's certainly something to think about and a good point to make. All right, 219-362-0522. Give me a call. Shoot me a text. Just a couple minutes left on today's Sound Off Summit. Let's get to a caller. Hey, thanks so much for listening to the show. I appreciate you. What's on your mind today?
Hello, this is Earl Cunningham. How are you?
Hey, buddy boy. How you doing? Thanks for being on the show last time. Did you miss me?
I appreciate and the same topics. Yeah, I missed you already, so I was going to reflect. The opening caller said that we keep raising taxes in the county, and generally speaking, I've been on and off the council since 2007. And generally speaking, the state has limited the amount of revenue we can raise by growth factor, whether it's 3, 4, 5, 6%. The bottom line is, when your property assessed value goes up, the tax rate goes down to keep you at that growth factor. So I wanted to point that out. And secondly, the tax caps have cost the county approximately $30 million a year the last several years. So to say that our taxes, property taxes, have continually gone up is not accurate. And then lastly, I think I heard you open the show with saying that someone in your family just sold 24 lots, or they have 24 lots for sale, or 20 lots.
Yeah, in a subdivision we own out there, and I've heard. I don't know this, but I'm pretty close to the source that they might be sold. So,
okay, that's great, and that's my point is that rather than approve 237 lots in a very controversial area, there's absolutely no shortage of lots to build on. As you just said, there's 20, 24. There's numerous lots in subdivisions out on Highway 20 right now going toward the New Prairie District. Mm-hmm. And when we get to a point where there are no lots available, then that's a different ballgame. But we're not at that point right now. I'll bet there's 100 lots available for home builders today. Mm-hmm. You go around each subdivision and say, well, here's 3 lots, here's 5 lots, here's 7 lots. You start adding those up. And like you said, if you got 20, 24 here. So I just think that because of that location and the proximity to the dairy farm and 3,000 to 4,000 dairy cows, farm equipment, that was a controversial decision. As I said, I was very on the fence, trying to make up my mind as that meeting was proceeding. And but I completely understand the way people voted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Earl, will you comment on this real quick? You know, one of the things, the criticism that's been, I think, of the state is that they often do lower the taxes, and the whole goal, I think, is we're gonna essentially lower taxes as a state, but we're gonna pass that on to the counties, and so the counties can either get by with less, or they have these other ways, the local income tax, these kind of things, to make up for the rates that we lowered as a state in their own county. Would you say that's a fair assessment of what's happening? So essentially,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely, 100% fair. And I would venture a guess that of the 92 counties, there's very few of them that have a great deal of excess money, whereas the state's got $6 billion in excess funds. So you just hit the nail on the head that there's been a transformation over the last 40 years of how those taxes are collected, and you know we're kind of stuck in the middle to some degree, and they tell us what we can raise, and yet obviously nobody's telling them what they can raise, or they wouldn't have $6 billion increase or excess.
Well, yeah, it is an interesting thing where you want to look good on the state level, but you just pass the taxes on to the county. Thanks so much for calling, Earl. I appreciate it. All right, we're going to get done today. This is 1 o'clock. It's already time for me to be out of here. We're going to have another Sound Off Summit on Monday. I hope you call back. Maybe there's something else you want to talk about. Maybe you want to get your opinion in on some of these things. We'll do the same thing on Monday as well. Then on Friday, Jim Peters will be back. We'll talk about some sports and things like that, high school sports, football, volleyball, whatever's on your mind there. Hey, I want to thank you so much for listening listening to the show. If you ever miss an episode, you can go to hometownnewsnow.com and listen to our podcast, or just search us out through Apple Podcasts or whatever. You can subscribe there. We always put the episodes on there. Thanks for listening. Be kind to yourself. Be good to others. Go adopt a pet this weekend at the animal shelter.